in the previous video, I was sharing how we're programmed from our educational system where we are institutionalized and programmed to continue that same process all the way until we retire, basically. I think that yeah, I think we could say that. If you think about it, if you look at it in that way, you're institutionalized in a school system until you graduate high school, which is basically is 12 years of your life that you go ahead and do that, right? And then from there you go to college, usually 4 years, right? And then from there you get employment, right? And if you've done at least the 4 year 2 to 4 years, right, if you didn't make it to the 8 and sometimes more, then you're going to go into a place of employment where you're going to be there for at least 8 hours a day until you retire. That's how I see it. I don't know, put it in the comments if you know what your opinion on that one. Now, going back to the detaching from the programming, right? Usually when we go through this process, we get attached to the titles, right? So usually after we've done all this work and we've gone through the college, right? And let's say you became a lawyer. Usually what happens is that your identity shifts to that which you study for. So now you're a lawyer and that's how you see yourself, as that lawyer, which you are. But that sometimes makes makes who you are completely. Like that's what you got going on, and then you attach to that. And so now you're, when they like, you're a lawyer, right? Or a doctor or a teacher or a manager, right? What's happening is that we get too attached from the programming. So when we lose that or we need to let it go, it's very difficult for us to do that because we get too attached to the titles. Now, if we were to go ahead and put as much energy and time as we did into getting those titles, into pouring it into ourselves, to really finding out who we are from within, because this is what I'm trying to get, the point that I'm trying to get across is that the same way that we were programmed to put so much time and energy into these things that are outside of ourselves, yes, we need to make a living. Like that's just how that is. We do need to make a living. I understand that. I agree. Like, I'm a mother of 3 children. We need to make a living. We need to be able to provide for the children and for ourselves, right? And we want quality of life. At least for me, like, I like nice things, right? That's a whole other thing, right? So the same way that we went ahead and we put time and energy into getting these titles, into getting these employments, into being successful in those areas of our life, right? If we were to be taught to do that, to go within and explore our spiritual gifts, explore our healing journey, explore who we are to God and who we are in God, then we would be able to find balance. However, that has not been the case with the programming. Let's say, like, let's implement religion, right? Like with religion and the division that has been created all throughout our lives, that we see even in the educational system, because what they're teaching the children and showing to the children is some distorted history. If you know, you know. So I am bringing out awareness into pouring into ourselves, like into our vessel, who we are from within. That should be our priority. Because once we have that set up, once we have that clear, once we know where we're going in that sense, and we're not reaching outside of ourselves to gain a relationship with the Most High God, to find out who we are, and we are not placing our identity into other things outside of ourselves, then we're able to complete anything that comes our way. having our identity stable and anchored into who we truly are. But it looks as if the whole point of this programming is for us to be so detached from ourselves, for us to, even as I'm saying this, if it wasn't for everything that is happening in the world right now, people would hear me and they'll probably be like, she's a little weird, like, But as we're seeing things coming out, right? And we're understanding and seeing for ourselves that, yeah, we've been programmed, right? And so everybody's going to have different perspective. And that's the whole point of being one consciousness, is for us to have different opinions and live in our truth, right? But not to be in division, because we're one. Like, we're all one consciousness with a different perspective. That's why we don't pass judgment, because our perception is based on the things that we have experienced. I hope this makes sense, and I hope that I get better at delivering this message. So, again, the titles, we are programmed to be attached to the titles. And it doesn't only have to be in the educational system or in an employment history. It's also the titles as, mother, father, brother, family members, friends, relatives. We have to detach from it all. Well, at least if it's not serving you, the to save yourself or to create a new reality for self, we must detach. And so with that one, the way that I'm the person that I had to detach from it all. Right? I'm the person that had to detach from all my family members because they're diabolical. Right? So I had to detach because what I did was I identified the spirit. Well, not only were they trying to unalive me, but I had to detach because of that as well. But the way that I detached from them was by identifying the spirits that were operating through them and forgiving the person, for they know not what they do, and not affiliating with the diabolical spirits, because that's one thing for me. The moment that I started to awaken and that I knew that I had a purpose in God, there's nothing more important to me than my purpose, than what I'm supposed to do for God. Like, my purpose overrides everything. I don't care who has to go. That's just how that is for me, because I understood then and there that most of the family members, if not all of them, and the people that I encounter were karmics. People placed in my reality and that I chose to incarnate around so that I could gain the lessons out of them. So with everything that happened to me, with everything that I've experienced and all the betrayals and all of that, I understood that I had soul contracts with these people, and that what I needed to do was detach and break up those soul contracts. And you do that through healing. So when it came to the titles, I was able to detach from the titles and the programming by understanding that I had chosen these people prior to me coming here, and that we choose to go through the veil of forgetfulness. And hence why I couldn't remember. I'll be back with another section on this so that we could discuss it deeply.